Your discipline should make people feel uncomfortable. It should make them question. It should raise the questions of, why do you eat that way? Why do you live this way? Why do you do the things you do? So that you can respond, because I care about my life. I care about my choices. I want to be in the top 1%. I want to be the best version of myself. I want to be the best I can possibly be. Imagine the response after statements like that. That people actually have to take a step back and evaluate and question their own choices. They have to start thinking about, what choices am I making? And what do my choices say about me? I was having this discussion with a guy the other day, and he was like, do you truly believe that being in shape is a requirement to be the best version of you? And I was like, how do you not? How do you not think that, the thing that provides everything you have, your body, your physical aspect, how do you not think that that plays a role in how you show up in life? Of course it does. It shows up in energy, it shows up in confidence, it shows up in how you deport yourself, it shows up in all these ways. So yeah, it has an impact. So if you're not in great fucking shape, that matters. That says something about who you are. And on top of that, it's one of those things that lets people know what you value straight off the bat. People who are in great shape, it says something before you meet someone. It says to those people that you care about yourself, that you value long-term success more than instant gratification. It screams that you're a man who cares about the future and cares about being the best version of yourself, especially the older you get. Yeah, okay, maybe when you're a teenager and your early 20s and things like that, you're just genetically gifted and it doesn't scream that much. But as you get older and as you become a father and as you take on more responsibilities of life, it screams that you are dedicated, that you have discipline, that you have focus, that you care about your body and how you show up in the world. So yeah, your discipline should make people feel uncomfortable. I went out with a bunch of mates the other night and we were having that discussion and they were like, I don't know how you do it. And I was looking at some of them in particular and going, I don't know how you don't. You're single, you have limited responsibilities, you don't own a business, you work 9 to 5. I don't know how you don't look after your health and fitness. I don't know how you don't go, maybe this isn't good enough. Maybe how I'm living my life isn't quite good enough. And we had that discussion. And they were like, I just can't find the time. And I was like, no, you can, in fact, find the time. You make a choice not to. We all have the same amount of hours in the day. It comes down to what we're willing to utilize that time on. We've discussed before that how you utilize your time is a direct reflection of what you value. So a lot of my time is dedicated to health, to fitness, to exercise, to being the best version of myself. Because that's what I value. And my life reflects what I value. Most people will say one thing and then do another thing. They're saying, here are the things that really matter to me. Here are the things that are important. And then they're over here doing other things that are completely incongruent with the things that they said mattered. And that's a problem. And that's a gap. It's why I firmly believe that you can tell a lot about a person based on their physical appearance. And no, that doesn't have to be absolutely incredibly jacked. It doesn't have to be the perfect six-pack and shredded to the nines. But that is a far cry from, being overweight, being fat, man tits, not being able to get out of a chair, not being able to do stuff, sitting down at the end of the day having done zero exercise. You can make good choices without being obsessed and dedicated to the process. But you need to make the right choices. Your body is the vehicle that allows you to do everything else. It's what allows you to show up as the best version of yourself. It's what allows you to do anything and everything. And if you don't look after that, there is going to be at some point where it will betray you. If you aren't putting in the steps and looking after your body and your health, at some point you will wish that you had. At some point it'll all dissipate. At some point all of that will disappear. And you'll go back to wishing that you had done that. To wishing that you had dedicated yourself to that. It's why it matters, and it's why your discipline should make other people uncomfortable. Because your choices should then raise questions for their choices. I get it all the time, and they were like, as I said, when I was out with these guys, and they were like, oh, do you drink often? And I was like, no. I have drunk during the Christmas break, I will be completely honest. I had my first drink for the first time in 250 odd days. I don't drink often. My discipline is rock solid. And that made them uncomfortable, and they were like, oh, how do you do that? And I was like, you just start with day one. It's that thing that we have spoken about many, many times. You just start at the beginning, and you just start with one day. And then you start with the next day. And then the next day, and the next day, and so on and so forth. We don't worry about how long down the road we can go. We worry about being in this moment. We worry about right here, right now. What can you do? What can you dedicate to it? How much commitment can you make here and now? Because all of this is consistency and effort. That is the differentiator. That is the thing that makes the difference, is quite simply just making a commitment and following through day in, day out. But I had someone comment on one of my other videos, and they were like, when I was talking about consistency and effort is the greatest skill that is underrated. It is the greatest thing that will transform every aspect of your life. And they were like, yeah, but it's not a magic pill that you can just take and, lo and behold, you have consistency and effort. And I was like, no. In fact, it's even easier than a pill. It's a decision. And I know people balk at this and they're like, oh, no, it's not. And I'm like, it is. Choosing to be disciplined, choosing consistency, choosing effort is a fucking decision. It's not like other people who have that woke up and they had this one day, or they were just born with this gene that allows them to have it. No, it's a fucking choice that you just wake up every day and you go, here is what we're doing. And then the next day, and then the next day. It's actually a combination. It's not one big decision. It is the multitude of mini decisions that makes the difference. That you just keep making these little choices over and over and over and over again. Then you make the little choices that I am going to be the best version of myself. That I am going to pursue my greatness, that I am only choosing things that progress me forward, that benefit my life, that push me towards being the best version of myself. So yeah, it is really, really fucking simple, because it is just a choice. It is simply a choice that you make over and over and over again. But on the flip side of that, if you are, for whatever reason, convinced that it's a skill, and a skill that you just don't have, well, it's a skill that you can develop. You can make a decision to build discipline. You can make a decision to build grit and determination and mental fortitude and all those kinds of things. It's literally what chasing greatness is about. It's the whole purpose of this is to do that. And all you have to do is, if you wanted to break it down into the most simplest form, aka chasing greatness, you pick one task. And for the next 30 days, come rain, hail, or shine, every single day, you complete that task. In chasing greatness, that is going for a weighted walk, getting 10% of your body weight or more, and setting a timer for 22.5 minutes, heading out for a walk as far as you can, and then setting another timer for 22.5 minutes and getting back in that time. Do that every single day for 30 days. And you will already be on the path to building discipline, to building grit, to building fortitude. That's how simple it is. People want to make these things out to be really, really complex. I was having that discussion the other day. Leading a great fucking life is really, really simple. It's not easy, but it's damn simple. You know, if you want to look at it from physically and mentally being the best version of yourself, you do the weighted walk I just discussed, you do a 45-minute weight workout, you drink 4 liters of water, you eat an animal-based diet, and you take a daily photo. You do that every single day. Then if you want to add in extras and things like that will also help, make sure that you have friends and family and community connections. And if you don't have that, find a place that you can allow you to connect to people. Get out in the sun daily, spend some time quiet. Most of that will lead you into a pretty great life. Obviously there are other things, and they're well beyond the scope of, a podcast like this, but for the majority of things, having a great life is very simple. We've just got to make the choices to do it. And I think it is one of the highest ironies of this life that most people are miserable because of the choices that they make, without realizing that they are the choices that they make, without realizing that they are in control of absolutely everything that goes on. They are in control of their whole reality. We've spoken about it many, many times before. If you don't like your life, good, because your life is a direct reflection of the choices you make. So make different choices. Make better choices. Make new ones. Make decisions on who you're going to be and how you're going to act and how you're going to carry yourself. And then just do that. And, in 60 to 90 days, maybe 126 days, your life will start to reflect that version of it. Your life will start to be the reflection of the actions and the choices that you're taking. That's the difference. That we're miserable because of the choices that we make. The choices we make around food, around how we spend our time, about dopamine chasing, about simple fixes, about how much effort we're going to put in. Most of it, pretty much all of it, is within your control to change, to lead a better life, to just make the decisions to lead a better life. So that's what you have to do. You've got to make those decisions that you aren't happy with where you're at. And so you're going to make better decisions. You're going to make better choices around it all. That's what is required. And that's what will separate you. And that's what will allow you to step into who you truly are. Is when you start to own that this reality is a direct reflection of the choices you make. So start choosing discipline. Start choosing discipline so much that, as I said, your discipline makes other people uncomfortable. It should raise questions. It should make them question their own choices. It should start progressing them forward to really ask the questions about what they value in this life. That's what matters. And that's how you separate yourself. You don't want to be average. You don't want to fit in. You don't want to be mediocre. You want to be the best version of yourself that you can be. You want to be in the 1%. So start acting like you deserve to be in the 1% and doing the things that are going to put you there. So that's all I have for you today. Now, as always, if you took value from this, if you learned something from this, if it inspired you or anything along those lines, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'm here every single day, leading from the front, leading by example, sharing as I go through these journeys and the lessons that I'm learning along the way. And if you're ready to take the next step, to start chasing your greatness, to start building that mental muscle, to build the fortitude and the discipline, please shoot me a message and let's get you into chasing greatness daily. Lastly, if you're not quite there, click the link in my bio, jump into my mailing list, and grab my top 10 tools to transform your mental toughness to start building that skill. But as always, I'll be back again tomorrow. Until then.